I think for elderlies, they plan very nicely on when they want to go. We hold her hands because her hands were very, very cold. So we thought of holding her hand to warm up her hands. So like she said that, oh, because we hold her hands, she can't go. My grandma, I call her by Ama. So she passed away in 2021, 19 December. Previously, pre-pandemic wise, is that every week I will be going to her place to stay. Like, especially during holidays, I'll be there every single day. So my relationship with her is actually very, very close. So during the pandemic, it's actually very hard for me to interact with her very often because she was diagnosed with cancer in 2020. And at that time, I was doing my final internship at a hospital because I was a nursing student. So with that said, like she's going through many treatments which immunocompromised. So I doubt that I will want to bring all those virus home to her.
I lost my Waikong Waipo in 2020. So we live in different cities, actually different islands. So it was very hard for me to meet them regularly. So we actually meet during like major family gathering until 2012 when I actually moved to where they live at. The city is called Makassar. So I stayed there for 2 years. So my grandma would always make sure that I eat a lot. So she will cook my favorite food almost every day. My grandpa would drive for me, make sure that I could go everywhere. So I came to Singapore in 2014, and to be honest, my grandparents' health weren't very good to begin with. So my grandma had underlying condition. So she had diabetes, and then my grandpa had hypertension.
So I lost my atuk in 2020, 18 September. He was diagnosed with stage 4 lung cancer. We have been very, very close since young because when I was born, he was initially staying with me and my family. And in fact, after I gave birth to my first child, we became even much closer. Like he would sometimes, like I feel bad because I don't visit him, but he comes and visit me because he wants to see my daughter. He was diagnosed in February 2020. He was already 72, and doctor said that there's nothing much that can be done because of like his age, and they said that the life expectancy is about a year or so.
Initially, when her diagnosis, I was shocked, but during when she was in the hospice, actually I really prepared myself because I think nursing helps a lot. In between, she has like false alarms where she literally will just suddenly not move, and then like her breathing very, very slow. A CC hospital allows 2 visitors at once. When they assign 2, it's only these 2 family members that can visit, and if one of the family member visits in the afternoon, they cannot visit at night. I find that entire month I really didn't see her at all.
So when we first found out that he had stage 4 cancer, I was very, very devastated. Between February to September, it was really in out of hospital. And because of this COVID restriction also, like when he initially get hospitalized, there's this like a period of isolation, I think about 1 week. So that isolation period, we have totally no contact with him at all. The most we could do is like call the ward and ask like how is he doing okay, all that. I still remembered like after that 1 week, then my grandma came, then he cried. He said like, why nobody come and visit me? Back at the hospital, then repeat that same process again, isolation for 1 week. And then after he was out from isolation, then we were able to visit. We have quite a big family. Me and my family, we managed to talk to the nurse manager of the ward and have this special arrangement. At any point of time, there can be just 2 other people. So he felt much better.
At first, I would call them, video call them. So I would ask them like whether they have eaten. But unfortunately, they would ask whoever was with them, like, who is this? So in 2019, actually, was the last chance for me to meet them, but I didn't go back to Indonesia because my parents actually planned to visit me here in Singapore in 2020 January. So in January, I actually told them that actually I want to go back to Indonesia, but COVID actually hit Singapore. As a result, when my grandpa's condition was really bad at the hospital, so I couldn't really do anything. Actually tried to reach out to my parents to ask about my grandparents' condition. It was all good until August 2020 when my grandpa actually passed on. Back then, didn't even have like a travel relief where I can go back to Indonesia and then quarantine for a few days. I was focusing on my final year project in poly. I didn't know what to do and how to react actually. And then 3 months later, my grandma passed on, and at that time I was having internship. When I heard the news, I was on the MRT crying, and I couldn't tell my supervisor at work because I thought that I wanted to be professional. But when I went home, I cried for the night.
The final one was when she was still talking. When I was cleaning her at 4 plus in the morning, actually I was talking to her, then she was asking me a lot of questions. She actually told me to bring her home. She wanted to eat something at night, so I said, okay, when I come back in the night, I will bring for you. She asked for the fried oyster pancakes. When I was getting ready to go out to buy her food, right, actually I got a call from my dad saying that, oh, she passed on. I think for elderlies, they plan very nicely on when they want to go. For the past few days that we keep visiting her, so like she said that on and off, like she don't want us to be the bad guy because her hands were very very cold, so we thought of holding her hand to warm up her hands. So like she said that, oh, because we hold her hand she can't go, so she actually planned that my brother and the girlfriend was on the way there because there's a traffic jam, so they were late, and then I was delayed because the store wasn't open.
The last one that he was hospitalized, it was at SGH. The word that the doctor said is literally anytime he could roughly give is about 2 weeks. So we requested that we bring him home. I was actually pregnant at that point of time. And on 17 September, it was around midnight, I started to have very heavy bleeding. Then we went to the hospital and we found out that I had a miscarriage. I kept the news just within me and my own parents and siblings, because actually my grandpa was the most happy when he knew that I was pregnant, and he kept telling all of us that he hopes it's a boy. And on the 18th September, it was about 5:15 a.m. where we received a call from my cousin saying that my grandpa is no longer responding. When we received that call, I still remember I did not shower. I did not think of anything else. I was really in that state of panic that I didn't even wake my husband up. I was just rushing off with my mom and my dad. For Muslims, because we bury the body, I felt that when my grandpa was going in, they will bring it. It's like with my child as well. The fact that like my grandpa has my baby and my baby has my grandpa to be with each other in the next world.
So at that point in time, I actually wish that COVID didn't happen at all, because I could have taken just about 3 hours plane. I would say I also regret didn't ask them to help me, to show me what's going on with the funeral. But I also understand at that point in time I didn't want to trouble any of them, because they definitely was really sad. But they of course sent me a few photos of what was going on during the funeral, and I still keep in my phone.
For me, my grandma is actually a very modern grandma. Oh, I come back with second piercing. Oh, very nice, very nice. I come back with different hair color. Very nice, I want to do also. And usually for very traditional elderlies, they want, at a certain age, they don't have an open coffin. So hers was an open coffin. So during the entire funeral, I was quite okay, only on the last day. Since I was at the back, right? So I was the last one to go in to see her before they closed. So what I did was I sat down there. I didn't want to move, cause like I thought of like, oh, I see her as long as possible before they close. And after everything, right, I felt like a weight was lifted off my shoulders, because when she was in the hospital, right, every day I'm worrying like, oh, how is she? Is she eating? Are they cleaning her right? I actually was quite happy that she was relieved of all her pain.
I began to shut myself. Even for example, in my social media, like I started deleting off like hundreds of friends. My husband and my siblings and my parents were the one who is really my support system. They would be the ones who will like talk me through it and console me, and to remind me that it's okay. When I found out about my pregnancy, then I became more positive again. But the first thought I had also was, I'm very sure my grandpa will be very happy. Turns out, yes, it's a boy. So I'm actually very happy when I visit him at the cemetery. I did tell him, I'm very sure he's very happy lah.
During circuit breaker, if she was able to move about more often, like instead of going with her usual group of friends, right? Because they usually go to Malaysia just to go for prayers. I was thinking of, because she only like to go Malaysia, so I can bring her to sightsee more and then eat more food in Malaysia, because she doesn't want to travel too far.
He really told us that he feels very upset that he's cooped up at home. He really wanted to go out, but no, we keep on like stopping him because we don't want to expose him to the virus, you see. So we would tell him, no, cannot go out. Like now, thinking back, like no, we could have gone outdoors. I could have like bring him out more to so that he doesn't feel so stressed out being cooped up at home. Yeah, that is one part I feel bad about lah.
I actually could have went back to Indonesia when I first heard about my grandpa passed on. So at least I could be with my grandma at that point in time, to have chance to actually talk to her, even though it was really short. That would make a difference.
I know this is a very hard question also, but if you're comfortable, like, do you have anything you would like to say to your grandpa, or like any words you have always wanted to tell him but you didn't get the chance to do so?
Actually, when the doctor said that he's left with about 2 weeks, I really wanted to tell him that I love you very much. But I think because my grandpa is more of like a fierce grandpa, so if there's one thing I could say, it's actually I really want to say that I love him very much.
Waikong Waipo, terima kasih untuk semuanya. Maaf kalau memang saya bukan cucu yang baik untuk kalian. Waktu kita dulu pernah bersama-sama, mungkin ada sesuatu hal yang membuat kalian merasa sedih. Maaf untuk itu, dan maaf juga tidak bisa membahagiakan dan membanggakan kalian berdua saat saya masih tinggal bersama kalian. Sekarang ini saya sudah bekerja di Singapura, dan saya berjanji akan menjaga orang tua saya, mama dan papa, dan semoga saya bisa mencapai cita-cita yang saya inginkan dan bisa membahagiakan mereka di saat saya bisa mensupport mereka berdua.
I actually really thought that I would have more time to spend with you. Previously, I told her like, oh, you must see me graduate. My degree is about 1.5 years out, and this year December. So she said that, oh, I will watch you graduate. Yeah, now you can watch me graduate in a very peaceful, no pain-free life. For all the times that you have spent with the loved ones that you have lost, is that be grateful that all the times and revisit all the happy memories instead of regretting of what is not done.
Spend as much time with them as possible, whether virtually or physically. Maybe, due to the COVID restrictions, maybe you can't travel, but I think the very least, maybe you should video call or call your loved one as much as possible.
Thank you for watching this video. We hope that this video can give those who have experienced the same some closure.
And hopefully we can all meet our loved ones when the pandemic is over.
Don't forget to like, share and subscribe this video. Thank you. Bye bye.